You know that feeling, right? You're done with an app, you close it, but then a little while later you pick up your phone and it's warm and the battery's straining. It just doesn't feel right. Well, in this explainer, we're going to figure out exactly why that happens. So it all starts with this super common move. That little flick of the thumb, you see your open apps, you find the one you're done with, and whoosh, you swipe it away. Gone. And of course, you think, okay, that's that. I mean, it makes perfect sense. The app's not on the screen anymore, so it should be totally off, right? Our mental model for this is pretty much a light switch. You flip it off, the power is cut, the light's out. It feels simple, direct, and, well, final. You've told your phone you're done here. But yeah, this is where things get a little weird. You pick up your phone, maybe a little later, and it's hot, sometimes really hot. And you check your battery and it's just tanking. And you're thinking, wait, what? I closed everything. And this isn't just in your head. I mean, one person who was actually tracking this said their phone felt less warm and more, well, searing. So clearly something is still chugging along in there. So that's the big question, isn't it? Why does this incredibly smart device act so strangely? Turns out it all comes down to a fundamental conflict in goals. You see, what's really happening under the hood has nothing to do with on or off. It's actually more like a prediction game. And in this game, you and your phone's operating system, you're not exactly playing by the same rules. Okay, so to really get this, we have to talk about something called a background process. It just means that when you swipe an app away, it doesn't always shut down completely. It can keep doing things behind the scenes. But why on earth would your phone do that? And this right here, this is the real conflict. Your goal is super clear. Stop this one app now. But the system, it has a totally different priority. Its main job is to make everything you do feel ridiculously fast. So to make things feel zippy, the system isn't just taking orders from you. It's actually trying to stay one step ahead. It's constantly learning your habits so it can guess what app you're going to open next. So here's the key part. When you do that swipe, the system sees it, and that kicks off a whole little process. It looks at your history, it sorts that app into a category, like, oh, you use this one a lot, or this one's pretty rare, and then it decides, should it kill the app completely? Or maybe keep it in a ready state, just in case you come right back. But this obsession with speed, it's not free. There's a cost. And the system pays for it using a currency we're all very familiar with, your phone's resources. Think of it like this. Every single time the system decides to keep an app kind of sort of running in the background, it's making a bet. It's betting that you're going to want that app again, and soon. So here are the stakes. What's the potential prize? An instant app relaunch. It feels amazing. But what's it wagering to get that prize? Your precious battery life and your phone's processing power. And when the system wins that bet, it's magical. When you do decide to open that same app a minute later and it just pops right up, it feels like the phone is reading your mind. Everything is just so smooth. But what about when it gets it wrong? When it bets on a big, power-hungry app, keeping it on standby, and you never go back to it? Well, all those resources it gambled, all that battery, all that processing power, it's just wasted. And that waste isn't just some abstract number on a screen. No, it's a real physical thing. All that energy that was spent doing nothing useful, it turns into heat. And it absolutely drains your battery. That's the searing feeling right there. Okay, so knowing all of this, we kind of have to rethink what closing an app actually means. It's not what we think it is. All right, let's circle all the way back to that simple swipe we started with. Now we know there is a whole lot more happening behind that little animation. Here's the most important thing to remember. It is not an off switch. That whole light switch idea, as logical as it feels, is just not how it works. A much better way to think about it is as a signal. You're not flipping a switch. You're just giving the system one more piece of data to work with. And it's a pretty gentle signal at that. You're essentially telling the system, hey, I'm probably done with this for now. The system hears that, compares it to everything else it knows about you, and then it places its bet. So let's go back to the original mystery one last time. Why, after you closed everything, did your phone get hot? It's because the system's logic and your logic were just on two different pages. For the sake of speed, it made a bet that you'd need that app again, but you didn't. The resources it wagered were lost, and that loss became heat and a drained battery.
So yeah, it can still be frustrating, but now, hopefully, the behavior at least makes sense.